And we are going live, boys. This is the SBR Betting Roundtable. It is every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 Eastern Time. And we got the slew of boys here. We're going over some MLB, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, some soccer recommendations. So we'll get right into it. Go around the horn here. Mr. Donnie Rightside, you can find him on Twitter at RightSideVP. His work is at DonnieRightside.com, also a regular contributor here. Donnie, how you doing today?
Hey, doing good. Hitting 60% so far in the early Major League Baseball season. Last night got caught up by a half a run, and who would have thought, Drew, that CC Sabathia would be my downfall, not giving up a single run in the first 5 innings. I had the over 5.5, Drew. Ends up at 5. Downer for the day yesterday.
It happens. It's baseball. It's a grind, man. We're all used to it by now, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners are as well. And on to the next guy up there in Canada, outside of Toronto, Ian Cameron. You can find him on Twitter at Bobano. His work at sportsmemo.com. Also a regular contributor all over at SBR. Ian, how are you today?
Yeah, a word of advice for everyone. If one baseball loss sends you off the cliff, stop betting baseball.
I got to stop bet. I got to stop betting, Ian. I just got to stop it.
I mean, it's baseball. It happens. Yeah, I mean, looking forward to another great show here. Ian Cameron, Twitter at Bobano, as always, sportsmemo.com. Looking forward to a great show. And guess who's rocking the shorts today here for the Sports Betting Roundtable? Me. That's right. It's almost 90 degrees here today in Canada. Summer has arrived, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Ian, you got to prove it for us, man. All right, we'll ask you to prove it a little.
There we go.
There we go. All right. Good
See
stuff,
the leg?
Man.
There we go. There's my leg.
Nice
there we go.
bikini.
There we go.
All right. Yep, that's it. We got it.
What's that? A girl under there you got under there?
Now that everyone's seen my Ontario pork legs, we can move on here.
Yeah, we'll move on. Big man on campus, last but certainly not least. You can find him on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. I've actually talked with him on Twitter. He's a great follow, and he's one of the guys that's keep the even keel in baseball season. It is a grind. Jeff, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. If you don't like Buster Posey, you don't want to follow me, probably. But no, I'm doing good, Drew. Always good to be back with you guys, and hitting baseball. Great game of baseball. We've had a nice week at the late night on campus. Check that out every night, 10 o'clock Eastern, barring Thursdays, but every other night. It's been fun, Donnie and I. But always good to be back with you people.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite shows, and the late night on campus is also one of my favorite as well. You get to see Donnie and Big Man banter back and forth as friends, but sometimes gets heated. It's a fun show to watch, and great guests as well. But guys, let's get right into this baseball card. It's a big one today. We got 2 games already going off: Tampa and Cleveland. 0-0 top 2, Houston and Miami. Houston already up 1-0, McCullers versus Urena. But yeah, let's get right into it. Going off of this past week and what we talked about last week, teams were looking to fade or bet on, and pitchers were looking to fade or bet on. Has anything changed? Does anybody see anything new going forward this week?
As far as, are we starting with teams, Drew, or pitchers?
Yeah, let's go teams.
We'll go teams first.
Teams to back the Texas Rangers. And look, I've been critical of this team this year. Coming into the year, Drew, you and I talked about it with Matt DeSara, that I didn't really like the AL West other than Houston. And Texas started out, they struggled. And look, they're still struggling at times to maintain consistency. But right now in that lineup, they're hitting the baseball. They've gotten they've won 7 in a row. Bullpen finally with a little bit of trust you can get with that group. I mean, Matt Bush has turned into a nice closer for them. Knock on wood. They got rid of Sam Dyson, Jeremy Jeffress, and you know what? Jake Diekman, he's on the DL. They don't even have him in there. So if they've done a pretty nice job lately, and you know what? They have a certified ace in Yu Darvish. They have they've been getting good outings from Casher and Griffin. How long that will last, I don't know. But Drew, I'll tell you what, with Hamels and Tyson Ross on the DL, they've kept it going, and they've looked pretty good lately. And I know, it's going to only get tougher. They have some tough series coming up, but they've taken care of the Phillies, and they've taken care of my bank account recently. I've had a couple of Texas plays, and they've gotten the job done. So for right now, Texas. But again, how long that will last, I don't know.
I like it, big man. I mean, that's a great way to make money in baseball, is finding these buy low and then sell high teams. And it looks like if you can buy low on the Texas Rangers right now. So great recommendation.
Thank you.
Yeah, taking a look at teams to bet on from a perspective, again, just gambling. Obviously you can bet on Washington and take some of the top teams. Houston's on a roll, but just looking at overall betting value perspective, talked about it last week a little bit there, Drew. Minnesota on the road now 11-5. And again, we're not talking about being a heavy favorite on the road like a Kershaw would be in some of those instances. We're talking about, outside of Irving Santana, very mediocre pitching. So you're getting a good number on the road. Second team, which a lot of people are now catching on to and looking at, obviously, would be the Colorado Rockies on the road. Same type of situation. Some good young pitchers there that are involved in that staff that, again, aren't big name pitchers. So when they're going on the road, you're getting good value and the team can hit. There's no question about it. So two teams I'm looking at right now with nice value, Minnesota and Colorado, both on the road.
Okay, so and them playing today, that's an interesting one. In Marquez, a young guy, like you said, he's going. That's an interesting matchup against the Minnesota lineup, who they've been surprising. So, yeah, we'll get into that on today's MLB card breakdown.
Absolutely.
But Ian, any teams you're looking to back or fade going forward?
I'll tell you one team, just because they're starting to hit and they've got decent pitching. So when you put those two elements together, all of a sudden you look like a little bit of a bet on team. It's Tampa Bay. I mean, Tampa Bay's actually playing a little bit better right now in terms of their hitting. I mean, their offense has perked up in recent games. Decent starting pitching as well for the most part. Jake Odorizzi is a guy that's really pitched well as of late. In particular, I'd probably link him as a bet on pitcher as well moving forward. And when the Rays are hitting just a little bit, guys, they can win some baseball games. That's always what it's come down to with them. They've always had starting pitching that can get the job done for them, or at least keep them in games. Now they're getting some decent offensive production. Just in the short term, you look at Tampa Bay as a bet on team. How about the San Francisco Giants? 5 wins in a row. Nobody wanted any part of this team in the first month of the season. Now all of a sudden you're looking at a situation here, guys, where San Francisco Giants perking up, and don't look now, their bullpen was fantastic last night. A bullpen that had been awful early part of the season. They're starting to get some better timely hitting, putting things together, and you're catching very nice, attractive plus prices most nights with this San Francisco team, starting to put things together. Bruce Bochy says, yeah, we got a big hole we got to dig out of, but that doesn't mean we're not going to try to do it. So San Francisco, definitely a bit of a bet on team right now, along with the Tampa Bay Rays for me. Bet against team remains the New York Mets for me. I mean, the starting pitching's a mess. The bullpen is one of the worst in Major League Baseball. I know their lineup has, done a decent job even without Cespedes for an extended stretch of time here, but I don't think that's going to continue. Their pitching is just downright lousy. Doesn't matter if it's the starter, doesn't matter if it's the bullpen. So you keep fading the Mets right now. The METS, one of the headlines was the METS are a MESS right now, and I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree with you too. I'm all over Arizona today, and it's going off. It's one of the day games. But yeah, guys, as we approach, the 40 game mark, what we're the quarter mark of the season, it seems like it's all of us are agreeing. Being able to buy low on some of these teams that the market isn't realizing that they're kind of rebounding to this point in the season. So hopefully that is profitable going forward.
Drew, one thing, and by the way, to one of the listeners, I won't show what I'm wearing just because I'm not wearing any pants. No, I'm just kidding. But I won't do that. I won't show. But listen, team to fade quickly, Drew. Right now, the Miami Marlins. This team has been a dreadful team lately. I mean, they've lost 7 of 8 and 10 of 12. You look at the starters for this team. I mean, what do you have down there? I mean, what? And you look at who you have to bring in. Jeff Locke isn't much better down in the minors. So, what exactly do you have here with this group? This bullpen's not good. They haven't been great offensively lately. They've just been a total mess. They're 6-13 at home. They have no real advantage in that ballpark. They've just been a total mess. And to piggyback off what Ian said, guys, I mean, can you get a worse group of bullpens than in the NL East? I mean, every bullpen in the NL East is horrible. It's amazing, really.
Yeah, that's an interesting stat right there. I haven't broke it down into divisions like that, but you're right. Just thinking off the top of my head, I mean, even the Nationals, they're a good team, but their bullpen sucks. So
This is an embarrassing year for bullpens. A flat out embarrassment. Look at last night, the White Sox and Angels. Angels blow the lead in the ninth inning. Another bullpen meltdown. White Sox take the lead in extra innings, only to see their bullpen give it right back to the Angels. It's a disaster. It's a disgrace. It's really an embarrassment to the sport that some of these teams do not have better bullpens. We spend all this money on all these big-time sluggers, on all these big-time starting pitchers, but we can't bring one fucking guy in here to get an out and put a 0 up on the scoreboard in the latter innings.
You're so right with that. I mean, you're really so right. I mean, we were talking last night on our show. Someone asked us, like, what bullpen would you back? And I know Donnie and I, we came up with probably 4 or 5. But, you know, there might be 1 or 2 that I'm extremely confident in. But yeah, I mean, it's really pathetic. I agree. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, even talk about the whole thing, big man, is if you even look at the card yesterday, I don't even know how in baseball, and again, I guess they're going to have to make a change just like they did in college basketball with the shot clock. Look at the scores yesterday: 9-5, 6-4, 8-4, 12-2, 13-11, 9-5, 7-3, 6-9, 7-1, 5-4, 7-6, 9-6. How can you even bet an under anything under 10 at this point? It's amazing.
Yeah, it's you and I also had that conversation, Donnie, right? Yeah. On how you bet unders anymore. It's kind of like in any sport. I mean, I don't really ever feel comfortable in any sport betting unders, but lately in any sport, you look at college football. I mean, betting unders in college football anymore is like just throwing your money away. I did, Donnie, however, bet an under last night, and it hit with the Dodgers, who consistently can't hit lefties. But yeah, you're right. It's suicide betting unders anymore. It's just not. And you know what's crazy, Drew, with like some of these unders, you look at the other night with that Diamondback Mets game. I mean, it's 1-1 in the bottom 8, and the game goes over 9.5. I mean, that's amazing.
That stuff's crazy, and that will make you rip your eyes out. I mean, if you have the under in that game, yeah, for sure. And to Ian's point, as far as the and Big Man's point with the Chicago White Sox, up until yesterday, I think they had the best bullpen in baseball as far as the numbers go. I mean, their whip out of the pen was the only team under 1 to this point in the season. So to see them even blow it up, it's just frustrating, especially to be betting unders or be betting on the team that is obviously
Oakland, Seattle is another one last night. That was just which bullpen's going to be the last one to serve up
Seattle's,
basically.
Seattle's horrible. Their bullpen's really
Detroit game yesterday also. I mean, did anybody want to win that game? It was just balls flying out of the yard left and right on both of those bullpens.
And our friend Teddy Covers made a good point. He came on our show a week or 2 ago, and we were talking about this very subject. And he mentioned, like the White Sox. I mean, do we really think that they're going to be able to pitch this way all year? I mean, they're really just – and it's funny because they're a lot like, again, the Phillies last year. Early in the year, they pitched great. They were overachieving. Somehow they're getting great outings out of their bullpen, and then they just really reverted to the mean. And you look at the White Sox. I think last week when we did this show, they were first in team ERA. They're down to 4, and they're falling. So, it's a mess. You got to definitely tread with caution and be able to take lumps because last week, I mean, I've mentioned I was in a slump and it was tough. Some of those games were brutal, but baseball's a cruel business, and you definitely got to make sure you have a thick skin for it.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to keep a straight and narrow mind. You can't let the losses get to you. Yeah, the last week has been tough for me, so hopefully get a rebound here. And guys, we're up near the 100 live watchers. We appreciate you tuning in. If you like what we're saying or you like anything about Big Man Donnie or Ian, just please give us a like and you'll get a notification that we're going live on the Roundtable there on Facebook. So we appreciate it, guys, you tuning in, and please feel free to hit the like button, not the dislike button. But as we get into, as we leave the frustrating bullpens and get into starting pitchers, is there a few pitchers we're actually looking to bet on this week? Maybe a couple that we're looking to fade. Anybody got anything going forward?
Yeah, I'll mention someone last night, but I think going forward, throughout the next couple weeks and months, this guy's going to continue to pitch well. He's in a good situation. This Ty Blatch for the Giants. I mean,
yeah, I love it.
He's a left-hander. Yep, the left-hander. He's stepping up in their rotation when no one seems to want to. I mean, Matt Moore and Cueto and those guys are just Matt Cain. They're not stepping up. This kid has. You look at other than one bad start against Cincinnati, which after he followed up with a good performance against Cincinnati. He's been fantastic. He's been shut down for the most part, particularly against the Dodgers. You know he's going to shut down the Padres. So long term, I think he's going to have a pretty good outing up in the big leagues. He's one of these guys that is a lefty, which you don't see much anymore in baseball at this level. And look, I mean, the Dodgers can't hit lefties. They're going to face the Dodgers a lot this year. The Padres suck. This kid's been really good other than one start, and I think he's taking advantage of this opportunity. And think where they'd be without him this year. I mean, they would be 10 times worse.
Yeah, absolutely, big man. He's keeping the ball in the park there. I mean, obviously his home field is helping him, but you got to give him credit. He's pitching well, coming from the left side. He's a big plus for that rotation.
And Drew, he doesn't have much to lean on. He doesn't have much of a bullpen to lean on. He doesn't have much of a lineup to lean on. He's just getting the job done right now, and you got to give some respect to the kid. He doesn't have the Dodger bullpen behind him to help him out, so he's been good so far.
Yeah, absolutely. What about Donnie or Ian? You guys looking to back anybody going forward?
Yeah, got some value perspective here. Again, going back to last night, going back to the last half a dozen games. One of the worst teams in baseball right now is the Philadelphia Phillies. So you want to try to scrounge through. They're going to be bet heavily against each and every time. There's one shining man in armor on that team, Jeff. And I'm talking to Jeff directly here because
he brings him up every week.
Yep. Who would back the Phillies? Who wants to back the Phillies? Hellickson has 8 starts with the Philadelphia Phillies. The worst team in baseball to me. 7-1 in those 8 starts, good for plus 8 units if you're betting 1 unit a game. That is miraculous. That's unbelievable. How you are 7-1 in your 8 starts.
Where the hell would they be without him?
Ball club. Exactly. Yeah. Well, maybe they have like 2 wins, 3 wins on the season, but that's just amazing. The second guy we're going to talk about here, which every Wednesday you have to, grab a beer, crack open, the bottle of vodka, pour a little bit out. For that MVP, Andrew Triggs, 6-2 overall in his team starts, 2.12 ERA, got another nice start last night in Seattle. Is he not the clear-cut Cy Young at this point out there?
Big man, you got a response to that?
No, listen, I want to dispel the rumor that I hate Andrew Triggs. I just think it's funny that he's having such a good year. But if I can go back to Hellickson quick, in 8 games this year, he's faced the Washington Nationals 4 times.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Let's just put that in perspective. But yeah, Donnie, you made a good point about Jeremy Hellickson. They have 7 wins with him on the mound. Think if they don't have him, they have 7 wins, probably, maybe 8 or 9, maybe a couple more, who knows. But yeah, Triggs has been very good. I can't knock him. I don't knock him. I think it's hilarious that he's having such a good year on that team. But yeah, he's been one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, has anybody out there watched Andrew Triggs pitch? It literally looks like the next game he's going to get found out. He doesn't have great stuff. He's a little bit of a sidewinder.
Donnie, be real though. You have to admit though that you don't ever feel comfortable betting on him with that lineup.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they date it back to last year, he's been very good in that. But no, we talk about it all the time, Jeff and I. Oakland on the road is never something I'm interested in. Even last night with the line movement, I think he could have got Triggs at one point yesterday, plus 105, plus 106, going up against DeJong in that situation, which is amazing. But Oakland at home, I'm always looking for the same way we always repeat with Tampa Bay at home as opposed to on the road. Those are the 2 things. But yeah, I'm never comfortable with Oakland on the road, Jeff.
Hey, Drew.
Yeah.
Breaking news, Josh Tomlin gave up a home run. It's something that we don't see too often in this business. Josh Tomlin gave up a home run. Amazing. He doesn't do that very much, does he?
Only, a couple times a start? We'll see.
Right. Only like 6 times a start, right?
Tampa Bay making me look halfway competent. I like that.
And that's Tampa Bay on the road, too. Like Donnie was just saying, I look to back him at home, not on the road. But, Ian, what about pitchers to fade or to back for you?
Well, one to back, one maybe to back, but I think I will anyway, even though he's only had 1 start back, because I think he's got upside. I think he's a guy this organization's really going to look to be a penultimate arm in their rotation for years to come. It's Jose Barrios, and I believe now I'm getting that name properly.
Good one.
Minnesota Twins, yeah. Thanks, big man. But yeah, I always called him Barrios. I believe it's Barrios, so we'll make sure we get that one right. But yeah, Jose Barrios is a guy that I think's really got upside. made his first start of the season. He's been in the majors before. He started a bit with Minnesota last year, but this year made his first start May 13th against Cleveland. Really good start. 1 run, 2 hits, 7.2 innings, saved that Minnesota bullpen. Very good numbers. Only 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Really impressed. Great movement. Very good in terms of being able to deceive opposing hitters. Got a lot of swings and misses, which I really like to see. This is a guy that definitely I think could have bet on potential moving forward for the Minnesota Twins. He could end up being the ace for this staff down the road. I think he could easily be the ace of this staff, because I don't think Irvin Santana is going to pitch as well as he has so far for the rest of the season. We're already seeing hints that Santana's declining just a little bit. Jose Barrios, keep your eye on him. Minnesota Twins could be a bet on pitcher moving forward. Bet against for me, it's a guy that's starting tonight, actually. Seattle Mariners, I faded him in his first start as well. Christian Bergman, how is he still in a starting pitching rotation? I think his career ERA is floating around 5. That's going back to his Colorado Rockies days. Now, I understand he had to pitch at Coors Field quite a bit. I get that. Tough park. Understand that. But he's still not got good stuff. He's still not got the kind of arsenal that's going to shut down opposing hitters. Toronto Blue Jays really had a good plate approach against him, knocked him out early, gave up 4 runs on 7 hits in that outing. He's on the bump tonight. He's a bet against pitcher moving forward. For me, Bergman, to me, not a guy that's long for the starting rotation of the Seattle Mariners, but maybe he is, because it's a starting rotation that's been a mess all season, that's had some injury problems. Maybe just because of that, Bergman stays around longer. And if he does, hey, I'm all for it. More chances to fade him.
Yeah, I'll go real quick with one for the organization of the Kansas City Royals, Jason Hamill. This guy, my God, I mean, how poor has he become? He's got no pen or consistent lineup to really bail him out ever. Last 4 starts for Jason Hamill, he's had given up 5 runs or more in 3 of them. So I mean, you can tell right now he's just a mess. He has no real velocity anymore. And you look at opponents hitting 320 off of him. Jason Hamill, it seems like they sent him to Kansas City to just wither away. And it seems like he's done that. It might take him a little bit of time. I know Ian Kennedy was a guy that really struggled in his his time there, but he started to kind of buy into it and started to pitch better. I don't know if that will happen for Jason Hamill. Hamill's been a mess. You look at last night again, another situation where he got absolutely rocked. But yeah, I agree with Ian on Bergman. He's a mess as well. There's so many guys, and Kyle Kendrick, rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to Robert Selman. I know Donnie loves Robert. Yeah, so many guys that they're starting to. And guys, Eddie Butler had a good start last week. How about that? I mean, what are the more surprising things ever in the history of baseball? Eddie Butler shut down the hot St. Louis Cardinals. But yes, rest in peace to all the people that we won't see for a number of months. And Jacob Turner's starting tonight, for God's sakes. How about that?
Yeah.
No, I agree with a lot of what everybody's saying. Ian, about Barrios, I know we had Guan White chiming in how he was bad last year, and I was on him a couple times. I read into the hype on him, the Puerto Rican kid, throwing hard, and he kind of got tore up last year. But I guess over the offseason changing, it's almost like a quarterback, getting pulled, watching from the sideline, then coming back, and now he's been money. So I'm looking to back him as well. I think that's a really good one right there. But
yeah, that is a real good one. And I just looked it up. It's Barrios.
Barrios, okay.
Barrios.
No, I got closer, but Barrios. There we go.
I guess in Spanish they don't do the better sound. It's Barrios.
Barrios. Yeah.
You got to roll your R's.
Barrios.
You're
learning that stuff down there, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm trying. We got Duolingo, the app, and trying to talk as much Spanish as I possibly can.
Over under, guys, on Andrew Kashner continuing to pitch the way he is. I mean, how many starts is that going to go? I mean, honestly, 3 or 4 maybe?
His metrics look scary bad. So I think, actually, believe it or not, Eflin and the Phils team total over might be worth a look there tonight. In my opinion.
And the ump in that game is a big over ump. I think 7 of his 8 games have gone over. So, yeah, you might be onto something there. And Eflin looks poised, Donnie, for a tee-off. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's anybody outside right now. Hellickson got touched up a little bit his last start, but anybody outside, they don't have power arms outside of Velasquez. And Velasquez is such a good power arm that he connects with the barrel of the barrel every single time he's out there giving up home runs. So the Phillies right now, team total not bad there, Ian, on the road. One thing, the wind is blowing a little bit. Doesn't really make that big a difference, it seems, in Texas. Coming in from right field about 17, 18 miles an hour. But we'll see how
best
that
thing
goes down in
about team
Globe Life for
total-
the Phillies again.
Yeah, the best thing about team total bets, Donnie, is that you avoid these bullpens. I mean, the team total, if you're worried about backing a side that's going to score runs because their bullpen might blow it in the latter innings, team total takes that out of the equation. That's why you got to look at some of these derivative betting opportunities in baseball because they're out there and you can take advantage of them.
Comment of the day from Matthew there. That's a really funny comment there.
What do we got?
Adriana Lima has faded Harvey, and so should we.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's a good one.
She is probably making money on his ass.
Hell yeah! And what do you guys think about Eflin? Because I was looking to get on Philly today, but what he got either last time out or the time before he got rocked, so I didn't know if that kept me off of it anyway.
Yeah, the problem with Eflin, Drew, is that you look at his career. I mean, he's been very average, and I think he's overachieved in 5 games this year. I think like Pavetta, he was fairly lucky on a lot of his early starts, but I think he's poised to get jumped on here at some point. And look, I mean, Drew, at the end of the day, I mean, let's say he does pitch 5 good innings here. I mean, the Phillies may have name-wise the worst bullpen in the major leagues. I mean, they have literally nothing there that you can get excited about. At least Texas has some names that you get excited about. The Philadelphia Phillies have nothing, and they're just inept to change anything. Donnie, I know you've talked with that, but yeah, I think Eflin is a ticking time bomb at some point. He's going to get jumped on because I just don't know how good he really is.
Yeah,
they're hitting right now.
One good point about that game, if you're looking from a betting perspective, 46% of the tickets are coming in on the Phillies over a little bit more money at 52%. The one thing we love to look at, Pinnacle opened up at -140. That line's sitting at -124 now. So sharp or not, they're crushing the Phillies right now. We'll see how that ends up throughout the day, but there's a lot of people backing the Phillies as opposed to backing Cashner right now.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting game. And guys, let's just keep this rolling on to today's MLB card. Wait, do we got anything? Keep in mind we got best bets coming up as well, so keep something in your pocket. But one that's interesting, we got the Mets in Arizona coming up shortly. Dodgers, San Francisco. Anybody got anything in the day games?
I didn't really have much in the day games there. 2 games I have my eye on here, Drew, that we're looking at is that Washington-Pittsburgh game with Turner and Cole. Right now, again, from a betting perspective, 79% of the money coming in on Pittsburgh here with Cole, with only 40% of the tickets. Line opened up at -126 as a nice home favorite there. Has since jumped the Pinnacle to -139. Also, if you're looking in that late night card, and me and Jeff will be on the late night at campus right when this one kicks off, that's Milwaukee and San Diego, an ugly series out there that, not many big names are involved in this one. Only 24% are backing San Diego. They open up as a -120 and jump to a -125. Those 2 games have my eye a little bit here, talking about some value, what you might get in some of those teams.
So you're liking San Diego?
Like it's probably going to be a decent play tonight. Again, yeah, I mean, Milwaukee, I didn't take them the last 2 nights, thank goodness on that. And even if you were just looking at a line perspective, you probably should have. But once or twice, I mean, this Milwaukee lineup, if they have Shaw out again, Thames out again, obviously Braun is out, they're probably going to catch up. And it's one of those games, I haven't looked at the card for tomorrow, but I assume it's a getaway game for Milwaukee. So when the bags are packed and ready to go, a lot of times their head is already on that plane as well.
Yeah, great point. Always be aware of getaway day, and that's a big one. What about Ian or Big Man? You guys involved with Jimenez today, or what about New York Yankees, Kansas City? That one's an interesting one. Pineda versus Vargas.
Yeah,
Vargas
I'm waiting for Vargas to get jumped on. I mean, that I have a feeling that 1.01 ERA isn't going to last too long. I mean, it's Jason Vargas, for God's sakes, at the end of the day. But yeah, I don't have much in the Yankees. I do kind of like the Cubs tonight for some reason. I don't know. This team's been annoying to me though this year. Scott Feldman's another guy that I don't necessarily want to bet on. Kyle Hendricks has posted a quality, off a nice quality start in Coors. Didn't get the window. I don't know. This card's not. This week hasn't been great. These cards, but Arizona I like, but I don't know. Matt Harvey, he's just got so much talent. I mean, it's got to be there at some point for him, but maybe the over. I don't know. I got to look more into some of these, but there's some spots. Maybe Minnesota with Irvin Santana. We know I love him. And as far as German Marquez, is it possible he has 2 good starts in a row? Yeah, I don't think. We'll see.
Okay. I mean, there is some interesting ones. Ian, we got Toronto, Atlanta. It's kind of where I used to be versus where you are. We touched on it a little bit in the opening line show, but what you back in Atlanta and the hot Freddie Freeman?
Yeah, that's an interesting game. I think that could be lower scoring because I like Biagini and this converted starter from the pen. He's pitched well. Look at the starts that he's made for the Toronto Blue Jays for Joe Biagini. He has done a
Ian,
great job.
it's Biagini.
Biagini, yeah. If you want to do it the Italian way, that's how you do it. Exactly. But yeah, he's been good. And they want to make him a long-term starter down the road, like permanently in the starting rotation and move him out of the bullpen. So they're gradually increasing his pitch count game by game. He's responded to it quite well. He's got a nice ballpark to pitch in here as well, as opposed to the Rogers Center, obviously, which can turn into a bandbox, especially now with the weather heating up. It's funny, the summer weather arrives and the Jays leave town. Sometimes life ain't fair. But we'll see. Joe Biagini's good. But Fultonevich pitched well last time out, bounced back after a bad start after that blister injury. So maybe the under there. I'm leaning to Oakland tonight with Hahn. Against Bergman. Hahn's a little bit of a guy that I think might be able to neutralize Seattle a little bit, and Bergman's a fade. Game probably could be higher scoring as well. And I'm also looking at, there's one more here. Boston, even Rick Porcello, he's pitched well lately. That was a lean for me on the card tonight, the Boston Red Sox in that one. And Detroit on the first five with Fulmer over Jimenez was something that kind of interested me. I want no part of these two bullpens, Baltimore, Detroit. Donnie mentioned it. We saw it last night. That was just a bullpen giving it back to the other team time and time again. No bullpen wanted to put their foot down and end that game and win it for their team. So the bullpens are completely in tatters going into that game tonight after last night's marathon. I want to take them completely out of the mix. So I'm looking first 5 innings where Fulmer should have an advantage over Ubaldo.
Okay.
I kind of like the Dodgers run line today. Cueto, I don't know that I trust him right now. And Kershaw, we know. I mean, his numbers against the Giants just sickening. They faced a lefty last night. Obviously, they get a righty today. So I kind of like the Dodgers a little bit here, maybe on the run line. For me, I think that's like a 4-1 type of game, something like that. I think it will stay under, though. I think it's a low-scoring game, but I kind of like the Dodgers. That bullpen with Kershaw, I mean, it just seems so fantastic. I mean, I love it. And when you give him some run support, as they did last time, I mean, he just doesn't lose. So, maybe look to that, maybe parlay it with something else. I've been someone that will do that once in a while. Donnie, I've told you, sometimes I will parlay, a team like the Dodgers and maybe, another team that I'm looking at, to get that plus money. I mean, I did one last night, plus 160. It was 2 really nice plays, and they got the job done. So, Cueto is Cueto. I love Johnny Cueto, but this year he threw 119 pitches over his last outing. So, that one could be just laying there. Clayton Kershaw on the run line, maybe.
Yes, and we got Seth Hagen in the chat box. Harvey 11 runs in his last 10 innings. So that New York Mets Arizona game, we'll be talking about it a little bit more in best bets.
You're not worried at all about maybe the one concern I have is is everyone's on and against the Mets right now. I mean, at some point, you do have the bats. I mean, they've been hitting. It's just maybe first 5 Mets I kind of like in a way. I don't know. There's something about the Mets today that I feel like they win. I feel like all I see is Diamondback love here. I don't know, but I might be wrong too. It's the Mets.
Hey, it's baseball. You got to be careful, though. You don't want to be catching that falling knife there, jumping on the Harvey.
Oh, sure. No, I know. Yep.
But maybe drop him like Adrian Lima. But hey guys, I guess we'll get back into MLB in the best bets, but we got to get to some NBA, soccer, NHL. So where do we want to start off? On the hardwood? Go to the football pitch.
NBA is cool. I'm good with that.
Start NBA. Yep.
NBA. What do we got from the NBA guys?
Well, you got the Eastern Conference Finals starting tonight. Obviously, the Western Conference Finals look to be a little bit of a rout. This might be the same type of series. I mean, look, Celtics are a nice story, but I still think they're 1 or 2 players away. Isaiah Thomas cannot do everything. Al Horford's a nice player. They have some nice players there, but to feel like Kelly Olynyk's going to give you that night in and night out, they're off a long Game 7 series. Cleveland's had a ton of rest, and to think that they could come in here and be not only competitive in this game, but in this series, I just don't know that I see it. I mean, Cleveland's not lost in the playoffs this year. They've had, like I said, some time to rest. They just look like real world beaters in the Eastern Conference. I like Boston, but obviously getting that first pick last night, they're going to be a lot better going forward, but I still think they're 1 or 2 players away to compete in the East. They also lost 3 or 4 this year to the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's turn-up time. It's LeBron James time. For me, I got to think the Cavs sweep here. we might see one win from Boston at home, but I just don't think Isaiah Thomas can do it alone. It's easy to beat teams like the Wizards and some of these others, but Cavs are a different animal. I do like the Cavs tonight at home in Game 1. I think this is a pretty fair line, and I think there's some value still in the Cavs. At 4, I'll take a shot with it here. I think they win this series fairly easily, a sweep or one game for the Celtics.
Yeah, it looks like the market agrees with you. What, it opened 3, now up to 4, even 4.5 at some shops, showing 5 at some shops.
That's my concern. I mean, the Cavs are always a public favorite. People, squares love the Cavaliers, which, if you look at the top 10 wagers and stuff, they're going to be on there. But it's going to be tough to back Boston right now just because, actually, I'm sorry, Boston's at home here. I keep forgetting they're the number 1 seed. My apologies. I guess a lot of us think we just assume Cleveland's the 1 seed, but at 4, I still like the Cavs. But as it gets up a little higher, maybe it's not as something I'm interested in.
Okay. You know what, guys? You know what we got to do actually is we should have put a call out to the Chicago White Sox so that if we talked about the Spurs Warriors series, we could bring their legendary broadcaster Ken Hawk Harrelson in here he could tell us this series is over, because that's basically what it is with the Spurs and Warriors. He's you know what? Some of those guys, I do. I actually enjoy him because he's a blatant homer. But he's a hilarious homer. He's not an annoying homer. It's the annoying homer that bitches,
like John Sterling,
whines and whines all the time.
Talk about John Sterling like that.
Yeah.
Yankees win. The text message to the seats. Come on,
Ian,
buddy.
have you just real quick, there's a legendary video of Harrelson 2 or 3 years ago against the Rays. Mark Wagner threw out Quintana, and it was like 5 minutes of him just slashing Mark Wagner for he's a horrendous umpire. I don't know how he's an ump.
It was hilarious. Just tear-up job. Like, what are you talking about, Wagner? That's about as bad a call as I've ever seen in the game of baseball. He knows nothing about it. He was just going off. It was hilarious.
This guy has no business being an umpire in this league. He's funny, I think. I think he's really funny.
Oh, yeah. He's a treasure, and the White Sox fans love him. That's for sure. Why not? He's cheering for his team. I mean, I can't criticize a guy for that. What do you do? And he's hilarious doing it. So plus he gets a thumbs up from me.
You can't really tell him any different. He loves his team, and he's a homer announcer. He's for the White Sox. What do you want? For me, Drew.
Yes, yeah.
For me, Drew, I would lean Cavs in this Game 1. Okay,
and what about I guess just looking forward, because it is the NBA. What do we think about Cavs versus the Warriors? What would you set that line at?
Yeah,
what do you think? Cavs or Warriors in 6? What?
I mean, Cavs are like a 3-1 dog right now, and they're not getting much respect there. I think that's probably about fair. Maybe 3-1 for the Cavs. It's hard to think that the Cavs will beat the Warriors straight up. I mean, especially with Durant and kind of the unfinished business that they had last year and losing. I can't say I think that there will be any kind of slip up this year for the Warriors. I can't wait till we get to that point, because it seemed like months since these playoffs started. I mean, how long are the NBA playoffs anymore? It seems like they're like 3 months long, but I would say it'll probably hang around 3-1, 2.5-1. And some people will say the Cavs, that's a little, they're not getting any respect there. But I think the Warriors will win fairly easily, 4-2, something like that. Cavs can maybe win.
It's definitely going at least 6. I mean, the NBA, the call is going to be put in. There's no way they're going to let this be a sweep or 5 games. They waited the entire season long for Golden State. From the minute Durant signed with Golden State, they should have just collapsed the NBA down, let these guys go through an extended training camp and just play in the finals and just have at it, because it's going to be a high-rated series, but there's no way the NBA is going to let this get off quick. And I'm glad that hopefully the NBA even steps in further and doesn't let, Boston mess around or get physical. Just sweep Boston out. Just sweep out San Antonio. Can we just get to the finals?
Yeah, you know what?
That's a great point, Donnie. And do you guys use that in your NBA handicapping? So going into the finals, if one team's up 2-0, do you look to bet on the other team knowing that that's what the NBA wants?
Oh, the NBA, absolutely. If it goes 2-0 in Golden State and goes back to Cleveland, you can best bet that Draymond Green's going to be on the bench with 4 fouls in the first half. You can blink your eye.
I agree with him. I think this 100%. Is definitely 6 games, probably. I mean, you're totally right with that, Donnie.
Same thing last year with the Draymond Green suspension in the finals. Draymond Green doesn't get suspended. They're the champions. But the NBA's like, wait a second here. We can slow this down and kick Draymond out, and boom, there we go.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think the NBA is very movie-like with the way some of the things happen. It seems planned ahead. It seems
scripted. Scripted.
Yeah. I mean, it's their mantra is where amazing happens, and it's right. I mean, it's totally true. At times, things happen that are just amazing. I mean, and it's interesting how they all happen. And I think, Donnie, you're totally right. I think this is a 6-game series. I think the Warriors will end up winning it, but it's not going to – there's no sweep. No way. No possible way.
No. And if you don't think the NBA is going to do everything in their power to get this series to go as long as possible, if you don't think that they're going to bring in their referee henchmen, Scott Foster, Tony Brothers, all these crooks that are terrible officials that just blow the whistle based on what the NBA wants or what is best for long-term success and growth of the league and money and all that, you're kidding yourselves. Foster and Brothers will be involved. You're going to get at least 6 games out of that NBA Finals. Book it.
And someone's saying, no, real quick, someone's saying, is it scripted when random threes are made by Steph Curry? Of course not. But, little things over the course of the game and little things like giving fouls out and suspending people for stuff that maybe they shouldn't be suspended for. Donnie, that was a great point by you.
We see it all the time. You could see it right now in Game 2, same way it was last year in the Golden State Cleveland series. LeBron will sit in front of a microphone, bitch and moan, be passive aggressive, and he'll get 97 calls the very next night. It's coming, so get ready. Golden State will be up 2-0. Golden State will be feeling good. Before you can snap your finger, it's going to be 2-2 headed back to Golden State.
That was something I was thinking about. QQQ Wilson. If Cleveland loses, watch them make a play for Russell Westbrook. Watch that. Watch. It'll be Cleveland Golden State.
Now hold on, Jeff. Why would Russell Westbrook want to go to Cleveland when his only goal in life is to put up statistics and numbers, which he won't be able to do in
Listen,
Cleveland?
I'm not sure, but I don't know. Who knows? It's the NBA, and no one cares about game to game anymore. It's all about the finals and can we win a championship. So I don't know. It's just
care less about a title. Westbrook would rather be on like the Sixers with no talent, so he can put up a triple-double every night rather than go win a title. That's just Westbrook.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, great breakdown, guys. I agree with you. In Big Man, you said what the NBA is like movie driven, and I would even add to that it's like actors rule it, because it used to piss me off, but now I just kind of roll with it and I enjoy it, to watch LeBron, to watch, Steph Curry. It is exciting. It's not all bad. I
feel like in their contracts, there's something that states, listen, when we tell you something, you do it. And that's the rule, in the playoffs. It's about money, man. Like no one's watching these blowouts, and there's been a lot of blowouts in these playoffs, and they've been boring, drabby. Yeah, I agree, man. It's. Just,
just the whole NBA motto, Jeff, is the same thing. I mean, how many leagues can survive when like 1 or 2 teams have a shot at the title, and 28 teams, the minute the jump ball goes up in their first game, they are eliminated? It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. If it was the MLB, that's all anybody would talk about as far as like, oh, they need to change everything. Yeah. But it's the NBA, so they roll with
Houston's
it.
46-2 in baseball, and the Phillies are 2-46. That's not. At least the other sports have parity. In the NFL, there's a lot of injuries that go on. There's parity. They make it harder for you. If you're a good team, you have a harder schedule. You have a worse draft pick. In the NBA, it's just like, hey, let's put a super team together, and we'll rest, and nobody else has a chance. So if you're a small market team and you're trying to cheer for your team, Game 3, you're already out of the playoffs, and it's done. You lost. Cleveland's done.
And if you're in the NHL playoffs, for example, Ottawa Senators, you got a chance to be in a conference final like you are right now. If you're if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you're just playing for exercise in the NBA playoffs. You got no shot. Totally anticlimactic so far.
And that's why the overall, league product sucks. And no one will watch it game to game. And most like Donnie, most people. Most really good sports fans don't watch it until the finals because
not game to game. It doesn't make any sense.
Bad product, and even you look at college basketball, it's getting the same way with the blatant officiating, the horrible taking over of games. I mean, it's just all sports anymore, and that's why like I've heard on soccer shows that I listen to, people are constantly bitching about rules and they need to change this, they need to change that. Just leave it the way it is, okay? It sucks sometimes. It's going to cause people things, but we don't want it to get like the NBA where it's just so, connected to business and this and that. Look at the NFL, another great point reasoning. I mean, what a shit show league that is now. Half of it, I don't even watch half the time anymore just because it's so
the NFL?
hard to put up with.
Come on now.
Come on. So the NFL
but the one good thing about the NFL compared to the NBA.
You're not serious, are you?
Why would the NFL be a shitty league?
Roger
Goodell's great parity. Where your team has a chance all the time.
Roger Goodell's
ding, here we go.
I mean, that's a thing for another thing. But if you're looking between the NBA and the NFL, the one thing is if you're a small market team, look at Green Bay. They can keep Brett Favre there. They can keep Aaron Rodgers there. Giannis up in Milwaukee, the minute he's a free agent, see ya. I'm out of here. That's why the NBA will never work, because all these stars will flock to cities that are, LA, Miami. I want to be in New York. I don't want to be in these smaller cities. When the NFL can keep their star power in those smaller cities, unlike the NBA. Just one of the tough things to get around. So if you're a small market team in the NBA, good luck. You might have a star. You draft a star, 2 or 3 years. He's gone. He's going to LA.
Except if you're the Buffalo Bills, of course. Yeah, that's the one exception.
Yeah,
or the Eagles.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys got to think that the sports are built differently. One player makes more of a difference in the NBA than it does in the NFL.
Sure.
But you have to agree, Donnie. Let's just say one other thing. You have to agree Roger Goodell's made the NFL unwatchable. Come on.
Well, I mean, I watch the
He
NFL more than anything. I mean, he's not the greatest guy, but what were you going to do with all the lawsuits? I mean, I wish there was no targeting. I wish guys got their head lopped off each and every week going over the middle, like when I grew up in the late 80s and early 90s. But it's just a different ballgame at this point.
Crazy nut jobs. You got to protect the players. I mean, but
some of my Roger Goodell battle is what I get upset is because all the flags and all the protection of the quarterback. He can't touch anybody. He can't hit anybody. I mean, Roger Goodell's going to take all that in. You're right.
Yeah, it's a money grab, just like NBA. We got Dylan in the chat box saying the NFL just boned St. Louis for LA, though, so don't blame them. But
the NFL is ruthless. I mean, you're talking. Let's go for sports gambling since we're on the SBR. You're looking at them staunch, fighting left and right with Congress. No gambling, no gambling, no gambling. Hey, Raiders, we'll give you a free stadium if you come to the gambling mecca of the world. We're in.
The funny thing about that is they're the one league that's not receptive about gambling. Every other league, NBA,
exactly.
They're all receptive. I mean, they all want to listen, but
nobody's watching that junk-ass Thursday night game unless they're betting on that game. And the NBA seems to think like, nobody's betting. We're not going to let this interfere. And if we legalize it, somebody might give Aaron Rodgers $5,000 to throw the game. Yeah, when he makes $150 million. Sure thing, buddy.
Yeah,
that's the
stupidest. Not exactly hard up for money, is he?
Whole thing. Yep.
LeGarrette Blount going to the Eagles. I mean, okay.
I'm hard up for money.
Got a guy that can run up the middle now. He needed it. It's a good signing.
Yeah. Well, great debate, guys. We got to get to the ice now. Ian, what do we got? Pittsburgh, Ottawa. Pittsburgh minus 130 up to minus 135. Total at 5. Do we like anything?
Yeah, I mean, we've got an interesting series here because Pittsburgh's going to have to overcome some serious injuries that they've suffered. Brian Rust, Patrick Hornquist, Justin Schultz on the blue line, Trevor Daley already injured. I mean, we're talking about a Pittsburgh team might be out 3 starting defensemen tonight and moving forward in this series if Justin Schultz doesn't play, because they're already without Trevor Daley. They're already without Chris Letang, who's not coming back this season. And ever since these defensive injuries have happened, especially the Daley one, and it's going to get worse if Schultz doesn't return, it's a team that can't transition the puck from defense to offense anywhere close to as well as they did before when they're all healthy. And their transition game's not as good. Their moving the puck up the ice isn't as good. Their speed through the neutral zone game hasn't been as strong. And other than a goal by Phil Kessel, in game 2 in that 1-0 win where he got his own rebound, basically the Ottawa defenseman blocks the shot, comes right back onto Phil Kessel's stick, and he slams it in past Craig Anderson. Other than that, Penguins don't score in that game. So their offensive concerns, because of all these depleted injuries that they've suffered on the blue line, is a concern for them moving forward. There's a legitimate chance now. Pittsburgh's got a series on their hands now, as far as I'm concerned. Now, Ottawa's going to be fired up back home. Game 3 at home, first home game in this series. Haven't been to the conference finals since 2007, I believe. So this is their first conference finals in 10 years. They're excited. The crowd's probably going to be amped up for this game. Certainly would not want to take the road team laying a price. I would prefer the home team as taking a price, as a plus price in that one. I think a game is bound to go over the total in this series at some point. The goaltending's been stellar. I don't love the over tonight because Craig Anderson and Marc-Andre Fleury have both been fantastic in the first 2 games of this series. But, boy, you're getting a discount now. It was 5.5 in game 1, the total. It was 5.5 in game 2, and now 5 minus 130. So you're getting a discount because of the lower scoring nature of the first 2 games of that series, so slightly into the over. Side perspective, it's Ottawa or pass for me. I'm really concerned about Pittsburgh's injury situation. I mean, it's depth. They have depth, no question about it, but something they're going to have to overcome. Nashville last night in the other series, the Western Final, they got the win 2-1 to take a 2-1 series lead in that series. They dominated Anaheim. I mean, even though it was 2-1 final score, they completely controlled that hockey game, deserved to win it, probably should have won by a bigger margin than they did. I still think Nashville is in the driver's seat to win that series. They've been fantastic at Bridgestone Arena. They're now on a 6-0 home playoff undefeated record this season. 10-0 going back to last year's playoffs. 10 straight home wins in the postseason for Nashville going back to last year. I know it's been a zigzag series so far. Nashville won game 1, Anaheim won game 2, Nashville won game 3. Zigzag bettors are going to look to take Anaheim as the underdog in game 4, but I won't be one of those people. I think Nashville has looked like the better team, has controlled extended stretches of this series way more than Anaheim has. The zigzag notion of this series will say bet Anaheim in game 4, but I'm not willing to do it, especially with Nashville being as dominant at home in the playoffs as they've been going all the way back to last year.
Okay. No, sounds good, Ian. And we'll get to soccer with Big Man, and we got best bets coming up too, which have been on a great start. But I wanted to get in. Hey, guys, thanks for watching. We've been over 100 live viewers for almost the whole show, so we really appreciate it. Please give us a like if you are liking the content. Also, feel free to tweet at us or write in the chat box anything you want to hear about, any questions you have. And did want to let you all know we got a contest going up in MLB on the SBR forums. Just go check it out. There's an SBR contest tab, and we got 60 to 90 plays for the whole month, so it's about 2 to 3 plays a day in MLB, and the top 5 finishers will be paid out. We also got new shirts we're printing out, SBR logos, and SBR bet points to the top 5 finishers, where you can go get prizes on our site. There's some great prizes there, so make sure to check that out in the SBR contest tab. So we'll get into Big Man on Campus. Any soccer, or I know a lot of people get on me for saying soccer. I guess you should say football. But Big Man, you got anything for the listeners?
I say soccer too, Drew. It's Americanized, But yeah, football today, 2 games I'm on, and one of them is a Coppa Italia final, guys. Juventus and Lazio. A lot of people asking me about.
Here we go, homer time. Dope.
Well, no, I will be real here. Juventus rested most of their players over the weekend. They were not, they lost over the weekend, but not many starters played. They're taking all their, taking everyone for this game here against Lazio. They're just a better team than Lazio. Lazio's played well lately, but Juventus really is looking to get the treble here. Treble in Italy is the league, the Coppa Italia, and the Champions League, which their sights are set for those as well. They're around even money here. Juventus is a better team. Lazio's been good lately. They've scored 12 goals in 3 games, but you have to look at some of the competition. One of those games was a 7-goal win against Sampdoria, who's not very good. A lot of the teams they played are underperforming. The Serie A this year has not been very good, other than the top 3 or 4. Juventus should be able to get the job done here inside the 90 minutes. Remember, though, after 90 minutes, if this game is tied, you lose your bet. This does go extra time and into penalties if need be. So for me, though, I think they get the job done here 2-0. Juventus is, to me, the best side in Europe, or one of the best sides in Europe. They have the best goalkeeper, the best defense in the world. So for me, I'll go Juventus here. I will say this. It's not a homer pick. They're a better team than Lazio. The other one, quickly, Donnie, I know you'll love this one. I'm going to go with Sheffield Wednesday today, plus 140 against Huddersfield. For anyone that doesn't know, you have the English Premier League, which is the top flight of English football. You then have the Championship, which is the teams that are relegated, they go down to the Championship League. The top 4 teams, top 2 get in automatically. 4 other teams battle for the last 2 positions. So basically, we already have 2 teams in, Newcastle and Brighton. You have Reading in the other side, and then you have this game to decide who goes to the final. So Sheffield Wednesday's at home here. The first game was a scoreless draw, so there's no aggregate here. The winner wins. Sheffield, Hillsborough, their stadium. Donnie, you know about Hillsborough. A raucous, fantastic stadium. They're going to come out in droves to support Wednesday today. They're just a better team. They've never lost to Huddersfield. They've, in 8 matchups, won or drew in every one. I just don't see a straight-up loss here. I think Sheffield Wednesday is the better side. You're getting a nice price back. They've won 65% of their home games this year. So for me, it's Sheffield Wednesday in England and Juventus in the Coppa Italia final.
How can Sheffield Wednesday lose today? Because it's Wednesday.
Exactly.
It's their day. Come on.
Great point, man. And football fans may know of Sheffield Wednesday. They were the team involved in the Hillsborough massacre in the late 80s. A very sad story there. But Sheffield Wednesday has great fans, great supporters, and it is Wednesday. That's a fantastic point, Ian Cameron. How can you not bet them today? And that isn't something I even noticed until you said it. But good call. Sheffield Wednesday advances, and I think they will get to the Premier League final. I think they get past Reading in the final. And I think Sheffield Wednesday finally returns to EPL glory. So go with those two today.
Nice. Good stuff, big man. Well, guys, let's get right into it. Best bets. We've got off to a great start. Let's keep this rolling. I guess we can go to any sport. But yeah, let's go right around the horn with the best bets for the listeners. Big man, you want to start us off?
Yep, I'll go ahead and start it off. I'll go right back down Main Street. I just talked about this game. It's just a clash in styles here. 1 point. Juventus been here. They've been here before. Lazio's a fairly new team to this stage. I just think Juventus needs it and wants it more, and they will be the better team today. I'm going to go with Juventus in the Coppa Italia final, currently at 5 dimes. That line is plus 112. So actually the line is when they're a favorite a little bit. Recently they were a favorite. They're now a slight underdog in 90. So I'll go Juventus plus 112 right now at 5 dimes. Get on that. That is a very good line.
Okay, and for the non-soccer fans, when you say plus 112 Juventus, that's
that means in 90 minutes they have to lead. They have to have the lead. If it's a draw, if it's 1-1 at the end of 90, that is a loser. They have to be winning at the end of 90 minutes.
Okay, and kicking the market movement, going against it with Juventus as the small underdog. All right, and Donnie, what do we got for best bets?
Yeah, been hitting on a couple team totals on the Roundtable winners the last couple weeks. We're going to stay in that same department. Let's go to 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time rotation, 9:55, 9:56. That's Washington and Pittsburgh, Turner and Cole. We're not going to look at an actual side on this game. We're going to go team total right now. Most would think taking a team total on the Pittsburgh Pirates right now, not the best option, especially when you hang a 4.5 as a team total. Expecting 5 or more runs out of the Pirates is tough to do. So we're going to go a little bit of a contrarian play here. Here's what I like a lot about this game. Weather, nice and hot. You know, it's going to be in the mid-80s in Pittsburgh, good hitting weather. Also in this one, Washington's bullpen on the road. We talk about it all the time, 6.23 ERA. Turner's going to get a start. He did have one nice road start this year, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, but I believe he hasn't had too many starts. A couple in 2016, didn't even have any in 15. If we look at all his starts combined, just going back and picking out a few of them in his last half dozen or so starts, 7 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 8 earned runs, 4 earned runs, and 3 earned runs. Out today as a shutdown game for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I can live with it. You can see maybe 2 to 3 runs over the first 5 innings and then getting into that Washington bullpen, tacking on another. I look for 5 to 6 runs here tonight by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Take the team total over 4.5 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Right now, I currently have them at minus 105. I usually get my lines from 5 dimes, but for some reason, there's no over team total on that one. So I just went to a local on that one. So if you can get something 4.5 or lower on that, take the Pittsburgh Pirates team total over tonight.
Okay, so Donnie on the Pittsburgh Pirates team total over 5.5 looks like 4.5. Sorry about that. Minus 105. Yeah. Okay, and Ian Cameron, what are you thinking for best bets today, bud?
You know what? I was going to go with Zona, but I'm going to leave that to you, Drew, because I have a feeling that's where you're going with that. I'm going to go Oakland, Seattle. I'm going to go Oakland over their team total. I am basically going to stay out of the money line here, but I do like Oakland team total over in this game against Christian Bergman, a guy that I've got no problem fading here in this game, nor do I have a problem fading the absolutely miserable Seattle bullpen behind Christian Bergman. When you look at it, you look at Seattle starters, the last 3 nights, Miranda goes 5 in, or even going back to the Toronto series. I mean, 5 innings, 3.2, 5, 6.1, 6. Nobody's eating innings in this Seattle starting rotation. Their bullpen's taxed. It's no good to begin with. How about Steve Cishek takes over the closer's role, gets it back again from Edwin Diaz, and Steve Cishek gives up the game last night. First game back against that Oakland team. I mean, Cishek should sell seashells by the seashore because he'd do a better job at that than getting throwing balls over the plate to get clobbered by opposing major league hitters in the 9th inning. I mean, my goodness, he comes back off the DL and he's just as bad as he was before. So they've got a ton of issues, that Seattle bullpen. Oakland should hit off Bergman. They should hit off the bad bullpen that's going to be coming in behind Bergman. Oakland over their team total tonight. Best bet for the round table.
All right, so Oakland over team total for Ian Cameron. And, yeah, you're leaving Arizona for me, and I'm actually looking at the SBR odds screen right now, and it looks like they just got hit down from 130 down to minus 120. So somebody coming heavy in on the Mets. Made me just check the lineups. Looks like I don't see anything out of the ordinary, so I'm going to stick with it and go with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yeah, I'm going to go with the minus 120 at Pinnacle right now. So we got big man on campus, Juventus plus 112. We got Donnie, Pittsburgh team total over 4.5. We got Ian Cameron, Oakland team total over. And I'll be on Arizona minus 120 for the game. So that's best bets for us. Anybody got anything else before we shut it down?
No, I think we're good, man.
All right, good to go, guys. And yeah, thanks for tuning in,
Great
everybody.
show.
Yeah, please give us a like if you're liking what you hear, and we'll be back next week, next Wednesday, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. And tune in then. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Good luck.
Have a good day.